Hey friends, it's Gloria and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about 10 books that are on my winter TBR or pile of possibilities. I made this kind of video for the first time a couple years back and a lot of those books are still on my TBR. So I'm actually going to work on some of those, but I didn't want to duplicate. So these are 10 other books that I have not mentioned before that are perfect for this winter season. And in general, I'm not a winter girl. I hate being cold. I do love wearing sweaters, but I don't like winter. But reading in wintertime is something different. It's special, and reading wintry and atmospheric books, those tend to make it to the top of the list. I don't know what that's all about, but I hope that I love some of these that I read. Please let me know if you've read any of them and would recommend and enjoyed your time, or vice versa. Let me know otherwise, because I have a lot of books to read and I have a lot of drive right now to get through different lists. I actually looked back to some of my previous TBRs and there's something inside me that bothers me from the books that I have not read that I put on those TBRs that I still own. So I'm continually working towards reducing the books off my shelves, getting them read, getting them out. I have all kinds of other fun goals, hopefully in 2025, that get completed with my reading and otherwise too. This video is not about goals or plans necessarily for the future, just some of my winter reading. Let's talk about the books. My biggest stack is British, UK books, England, Ireland, Scotland. The Winter Sea by Susanna Kearsley. I've heard wonderful things about this historical fiction author. This tends to be a little bit magical too. I think she always plays with time. I've heard this book is slow, but that doesn't necessarily deter me. And I know it's a series. Again, I just want to try her. I think I'll really enjoy her writing. But this is about Scotland in the 1700s and the Jacobite fleet. Definitely giving off Outlander vibes, and I wonder if Outlander was an inspiration at all. Another book set in Ireland is A Week in Winter by Maeve Binchy. I've seen this book now recommended for those that like Rosamund Pilcher. This is kind of promised to be winter solstice vibes, but it's set during a week in winter in a cozy cottage hotel on the Irish cliffs countryside, and I'm currently reading this book, so I will get this read. But I just wanted another kind of cozy book. I really enjoyed Winter Solstice last year. I've dived into Pilcher's works and they are really enjoyable for the most part. Some are not so good, but I wanted another kind of cozy read that evoked those same feelings, and it's definitely giving off the same vibes. Another Irish author, but a non-fiction, Angel's Ashes by Frank McCourt. I don't know why this screams wintry to me. Maybe because this is promised to be a quite bleak, depressing, harrowing tale of a man that grew up in Ireland, immigrated to the US, and grew up very poor with his family. I believe that's what this is about. This is a very popular, high on the list nonfiction read. It is one of my closest friends' favorite reads. It was so highly recommended by all of you that went into one of my videos and went through my TBR that I owned and recommended books that I own. This one's up there, so it will get read because I've promised to make progress on those books. And this one's the highest on the list, so it's gonna happen. Not quite Britain, but Burial Rites by Hannah Kent is an Icelandic novel. I don't think it's actually Icelandic, but it's set in Iceland and it follows the witch trials, like the last witch in Iceland that was convicted and her time in prison. I know it's gonna be a little bit of a depressing read, but I'm here for like the Icelandic nature writing if that comes through. I don't know if I'm gonna like this one, but I know a lot of people do really enjoy it, and it's been on my TBR for ages, so need to get it read this year. Moving into Russia, you know Russia always gives off the cold vibes. Pretty much any kind of book that has to do with Russia always depicts some usually sense of winter. So I have Shadow in Moscow by Catherine Ray, an author that I really want to try to see if I get along with her writing, and I have the advanced listening copy of this book from Libro Friend that I got years back when this book came out. And that's another one of my goals, is to get all of those arcs done and either listen to or read, and not hopefully get any more. But this one has to do with the Cold War and a spy dual timeline. I don't love dual timeline, but I'm interested about a Cold War espionage maybe book set in Moscow. Could be interesting. A book recently hauled for me, but I'm so excited to try the series, is The Bronze Horseman by Polina Simons. This is a trilogy set during World War II, during the siege of Leningrad. It's supposed to be wonderful and sweeping and romantic and lovely, and I'm here for it, and I cannot wait to read this one. This is, I think, the one I'm most excited for on the list. Next, some US writing. Martha's Vineyard, Isle of Dreams by Susan Branch. I'm realizing that I'm reading this trilogy of memoirs backwards. I started with Falling in Love with the English Countryside, which is a book about her and her husband going to the English countryside and this beautiful vacation that they took. Absolutely love that. This is the second one in the series about how she goes to Martha's Vineyard and moves there after a terrible divorce and her life falling apart. But this one just gives off those wintry feels. This is one of those books that is written like diary entries. There are photographs and quotes and artwork in here that she writes, and beautiful watercolor illustration, recipes. It's just It's so wholesome and wonderful. If you are not familiar with this author and love a good, just cozy memoir, would recommend. Again, I'm reading them backwards because I do own The Fairy Tale Girl, and that's giving off spring summer vibes, but that's the start of her life and her journey. I think it talks about her marriage and divorce there, but she did say that you don't have to read these in order, and this is giving off the winter feels, and I'm craving this kind of book too. I think this is the second one I'm most excited for. An author that keeps coming up from all kinds of circles in booktube is These Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. This is also supposed to be kind of a slower mystery, not necessarily thrilling or fast-paced, but I believe it's about a father and his child, maybe a daughter, father and daughter living in the woods, and they're isolated, and then maybe someone comes to visit them and secrets are unveiled there. I think it's supposed to be compelling and interesting, but again, not drama over the top, but something about it is giving off this like slow, wintry, compelling read. And then 2 fantasies on my list. I'm not a fantasy reader very much. These are out of my comfort zone, but sometimes they surprise me and I enjoy them. The first one is a middle grade. It's Green Glass House by Kate Milford. I don't know if this is a series or not. I believe it is, but look at that. I mean, the sun glare. That wintry cover. I've heard great things about it. Seems really fun. I think it'll be like a sweet little palette cleanser read. And then what I'm a little worried about, but I'm willing to give a go, is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I hear a lot of conflicting information about this novel and this author. People either love those books so much, they're sweeping and wonderful and magical and interesting, and then some are just like, yeah, they were fine and didn't really do much, or weird fantasy writing. And I, like I said, I'm not a fantasy reader, so I just don't know what's good or not, but this gives off the wintry vibes. I think it's supposed to be a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. I've dabbled very lightly in fantasy retellings and I still don't know if I like them or not. I haven't made up my mind. I'm currently reading one and I'm not totally liking it, so we'll just see. But I just want to try this author. I feel like I need to scratch that itch and see if I get along with her writing or not. Those are 10 wintry books that I hope to get to in this season, as well as a lot of other ones. I'll link my winter TBR from a couple years back. Most of those books are still on my list, actually. A few I've read, but most of those are still on my list, and I didn't pull those off because I didn't want to repeat myself. A long list. The TBR is ever growing. There's always something to read, and I'm excited for this next year and this season of just new reading. I'm really hoping to find some favorites this year. So let me know what you think of my picks, and if you have any wintry recommendations as well, let me know. Thank you so much for spending some time today with me, for watching, and I will see you guys in another video soon. Bye.